Hey Gina, how are you?
Hey, I'm well. It's been a while.
I know, and I've been wanting to talk to you forever since you went to Preston Castle. I haven't even got to hear one like bit about it, and I know it's a pretty kind of amazing place to go.
It's interesting. October was a whirlwind month. I everywhere. I was in DC. I was in Ione, which is where Preston Castle is. Um, I was just on the run the entire month. But Preston Castle, it used to be a boys' reformatory school.
Hmm.
I think it was built in the 1800s. Um, they're trying to, or I can't remember what it's called, but the organization that owns it right now or running it, they're trying to rebuild it. They're trying to bring it back to its glory so that they can use it for shops and just other things. But unfortunately, one of the ways that they're doing this, that and the biggest moneymaker that they have is turning it into a haunted house during Halloween.
Oh, interesting. So they like, do they like add decorations too and like kind of cheese ball it out?
They do. They do.
Okay.
They
I mean,
have,
and I like Halloween, haunted houses and all that, but it just takes something like this a kind of to another level in a sense.
well, the thing is, my reading on it is that the spirits that are stuck there, they get confused. They don't like it. There's so much, it builds more negative energy, and it's not a good thing. Because
And you mean your sense by the fact that you were sensing while you were there, your intuitive senses while you were walking through the
even before I got there,
oh yeah,
yeah,
yep.
on the road up, it just it's not good. They have people, jumping out, of course,
Oh,
but
they
yeah, it's an actual, like, they turn it into, like, you go through this trail, they have flashing lights, they have people dressed up where they're like dead with their face coming off, and they have one of the creepiest things, they have children that work this. So they have them crawling out from under the beds and like grabbing feet and trying to
oh
scare
my
you.
gosh, I would be freaking out. That's so scary sounding. Okay, so wait, so they don't normally have tours there during the rest of the year. It's only they do this haunted house thing every for the month of October, but during the rest of the 11 months, they don't do like there's Winchester Mystery House
They
and
have
there's
Christmas
Preston
events.
Castle. Okay,
Yeah, they do other fundraisers. This, just my understanding is that this is just the one that makes the most money. And
I
it
could understand why. I mean, it sounds like the ultimate haunted house because of all the stuff they have going on
and it's
physically, like with people, and then to have the other energies come through on the other side. I could just imagine.
well, and I didn't do any research about the place before I went because, I don't like to go in knowing anything. I'd rather get my readings and then go home and do a little research.
Yeah.
Um, it's loaded. It has so many, it's almost like there's a man and he's trapped the children and other spirits there. Like, he's told them they can't go to heaven because there is not one. And like, he's trapping them and he's punishing them over and over and over. Um, there was a woman that I kept seeing, and one girl who looked like she had, like, was trying to claw, excuse me, I can't even speak right now, but like trying to claw out of something. So like her fingers were just raw. I'm sorry, getting chills just telling you about it.
Yeah. So
Because
these are not, they do not tell you this when you go in. These are just the energies you picked up. Well, interesting because so do they make a big deal about the spirits on the other side there? Are they just doing their haunted house thing and then that's just kind of a side note that there might be extra little things that happen because it is a haunted place?
yeah, well, when I was there, nobody said anything about it actually being haunted. Well,
Okay.
but you heard in the crowd like, oh, I hear this is an actual haunted house. And it's like, oh, okay. But I already knew, because like I said, on my way up, I just kept getting information. Like, there was this little boy that kept coming, and of course I'm trying to put it off. Go, no, it's okay, because I'm not a big fan of haunted houses anyway.
Yeah.
And
so you didn't really know that until the drive up there, that it was an actually haunted house, not just a mock haunted house for the fun of going through. Okay, that's really interesting. So then you're picking up on all these spirits while you're there.
Take that back. I knew it was haunted before, but I didn't know like to the extent.
Okay.
So much that I had actually told my friend Krista, whose idea it was to do this, because she just moved up to that area recently.
Yeah.
When she first suggested it, we're all like, yeah, that sounds great. But then, things started coming, and we talked a little bit, and I told her, it's actually haunted. I don't know that this is the greatest idea. Like, I'd rather see it in the daytime first, so I'd get like a fresh reading instead of, the jump scares, because that just builds more energy to feed into, something that's already pretty strong.
And what did she say? Or it just didn't happen?
No, she agreed. Actually, all of us were on the same page, but what we didn't know until like a day or so before was that they don't do normal tours during that time of year. It's just all haunted house, So we're like, all right, well, we already have the tickets. We're just going to go. And we had a great time and a lot of fun. But I wish I could show you some pictures of the place. Like, I have some from that night to kind of show.
Yeah, I definitely want to see what it looks like. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I've gone to like the Hearst Castle, which I don't know if you've ever gone to down south. And then they have tons of tours. I only went on one of them. I think they have like 5 or so many tours. I wasn't as like focused on like tuning into any of that. It was so many years ago. I was in my 20s. And also I went to the Winchester Mystery House, and that was another, they have, I think, a couple different tours, maybe just one, but yeah, that's when I was really blocked out. I didn't want to like feel anything like that. So I would just kind of go, oh, just listening to like the story and that sort of thing, and not really get into the tuning in part. But again, that was so long ago now, it feels like, that I tried not to even think about that before,
Yeah, I remember going to Hearst Castle as a kid, because we had class trips where we'd go out and tour things. And I remember walking through, it was one of the guest houses, and having complete deja vu. And I didn't really understand too much at the time, but it was interesting. It's like I knew where things were going to be before I went into the room, type of a.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures to show?
I have a few, like, let's see if you can see this. So this was the castle that night.
Yeah, wow, they got it all lit up.
This is one of the people, like how they're dressed up. See how her face is.
Oh wow, they even like got in the shot with you.
Yeah,
I love it. Your old photo.
Yeah, and then this is another one of the guys that's, it's just creepy as heck.
Are those 2 people that were together doing that thing, or is he?
Yeah, they're just a couple of the people that.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I'm like, is he like grabbing one of like the customers walking through?
Oh no, the girl. That's my friend, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So they posed for it then.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hilarious, actually. But let's see if I think there's more.
Well, that's cool. I mean, what was your highlight of doing that? I know that knowing you, that you've got empathic abilities that are pretty heightened, and also mediumship. And so I mean,
going through it, overall, it wasn't exactly scary, but there was a lot of energy going on, where you know that if you stop for a minute, it would just like flood in. And
Mm,
so we just went through as quickly as we could for the most part.
yeah.
When we got back to the Airbnb after, we had a traveler come with us, and it was very uncomfortable.
Did you all three, was it three of you? Did you all feel it?
There was 4 of us,
Okay.
and no, um, my one friend, and this is actually another topic I wanted to talk to you about. Um, she's incredibly gifted, but she's had it shut down most of her life. And
Yeah.
only recently is she opening back up. And now that she is, it's flooding in, and she's, trying to learn how to handle it, and what to do, how to block things out. It's very difficult for her right now because, things, people talk to her, and suddenly she's like, she's getting these intuition where like she knew a friend of hers was going to pass, and she told me like a couple of days before, she's like, I know it's going to be on a motorcycle, there's something going on. And like a couple of days later, she looked at his Facebook page, and that day somebody posted that he had passed.
That's the worst when you get those kind of hits when they're like, what am I supposed to do with this info? And like, I mean, gosh, yeah, that's a hard one. But I mean, that's how I was too, where I closed everything off, and growing up in this like haunted house, if you want to call
Yes.
it, with
Yeah.
energies that were very low vibrational. You could call them demonic, you can call them a lot of different things. They were just not good.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's why I shut it down. And I started opening back up to that like about in my 20s. My teens, I kind of like was getting curious again, like late teens, I should say. And then I kind of just didn't do much about it. But then in my 20s, I really was searching to have somebody or some buddies help me like open back up to that. And it took a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of energy to one, get that ability back again,
Mhm.
to not be scared of it. And there's still some things that I'm a little like weary of. And if clients call me sometimes for certain things, I might pass them on to somebody else that I think is a better fit, because I know a lot of energy people and healers. So
Mhm.
yeah, but that's a hard one. I work with a lot of people too that are like your friend, that are intuitives and want to hone in on it more. And I've had a couple of them say, oh, you should have a class, but it's so individual. Everybody's so different. I usually just do one-on-one sessions, and I just have worked with my clients like that. But she definitely sounds like someone who could totally benefit, especially if she's open to doing this, opening up that doorway. Because it's like, I tell people all the time, it's like having superpowers
Yeah.
when you have these, but I have so many people come in and go, I hate it. I don't like doing this. And that's why in the beginning, when we start our call, we didn't record this, but about balancing our intuitive abilities that we
Mhm.
see at the best and highest good at this time and space and time for us. So if you're really overwhelmed and it's like too much, it almost like takes the knob and turns it down a little bit, so it's not so much in your face. And I think that's something that would really help your friend, is to learn how to ask her guides and energies that are with her to help her see with 3D vision, here with crystal clarity, with precision, feel with perfection, but in the right space that she's ready for. Because she might some days go, I'm ready for an 8 today on the dial, and other days she's like, I just want to run through this grocery store. I don't want to deal with anybody's weird energies and take me down to like a 3.
See, and I've been keeping an eye on it, like with her. So like there are times where she'll start drinking and it opens up the floodgates. And I'm like, dude, you need to like, first off, don't drink. And if you're going to like put a bubble up first, or, like I try to guide her a little bit, but it's overwhelming.
So give me some examples about that. what are some of the things that happen when she does start to drink, and what does that do, and what does it look like as you on the outside looking in?
Um, it's like it breaks down everything for her, like the walls that she had had up that was guarding her. It seems to me that she starts drinking and all of a sudden all those barriers are gone. So any information or beings, souls, spirits, I don't know what you want to call them, entities, are giving her information, and she's just like, she gets overwhelmed by it. It's a lot. And she's
Okay, so
actually,
she's
she's
a
very
medium,
strong.
but she's a medium.
I think so.
Yeah, she sounds like a medium, which is being able to talk to others on the other side and feel that. So you're saying that then when she has the drinks, they just all start flooding in and she's not having a good time anymore. Like, how does she act when this happens? Like,
It's different every time. And it's brand new. Like, it's, the walls have only recently started coming down. So like in Ione, for example, after we were done with our tour, I guess you want to call it, our time in the house,
right.
we went back to our Airbnb, and there's a bar downstairs and over. So of course we went to the bar first, and well, no, take that back. We went up to the room. One of our friends went to the bar. And so we all went down to get her and to hang out and then to go back up. Well, when we got upstairs, I knew something wasn't quite right. Like, I felt like there was something with us, and I kept in my mind saying, you need to go back. This is not, you don't need to be here. Go back. Like, leave us alone. What I didn't realize was that she was feeling it more so than I. And I don't think that she even realizes that still. Like, we haven't talked about it. It's just, what I got later. But we all went back down to the bar. We played a game of pool. One of our friends left. She went to Sacramento for the night. And so it was just the three of us. And she went back upstairs. She was like, I need to take my medication. I'll be back. She went up and never came back down. And I kept waiting for her. We played another game, and finally I turned to my other friend. I was like, let's just go back up.
Yeah.
And so we did. She was upstairs. She looked like she had been just really upset, like the weight of the world was on her. She went into the other room and basically was just in bed. And so my other friend and I, we stayed in the living room because there's a fold out bed, and that's where she was sleeping. And we just kind of hung out there and BS'd for a while because I felt like she needed her space, but I wasn't really sure what was going on. I was trying to still make that thing go away, whoever this was. And eventually, of course I got up and I went to bed, and it was very uncomfortable, like just weird dreams, feeling like there's somebody there the entire time. It just wasn't, and I knew it wasn't the location that we were at. It came with us.
Yeah. How can you tell the difference? How do you know the difference on that? Just to put it out there to everybody listening.
Mainly because when we were there earlier, we'd been at the place earlier and there was nothing there. But when we went back, it had a totally different feel. Just, it's like you could feel like, when somebody's looking over your shoulder, you don't know that they're standing there, but you can feel that they're standing there. It's like that. It's like, that person's there, but you know that they don't belong there and they weren't there before. Does that make sense?
And they kind of stay close to you. So it's not like, I guess I'm just trying to so everybody else understands what that looks like if you're in a place, like there's so many different things and breakdowns. And I mean, though I can do mediumship and talk to others on the other side, I still don't quite understand all the definitions and how it all works. But there's even
Sure.
where you can go to a place that's not haunted, but it has the residue still left there.
Residual energy. Yes.
Yeah, so there's that,
There's
which
that
feels
like at my work. There's that.
okay. Yep.
But
'Cause
then
you work
there's
at
the energy
yeah.
that like travels with their bodies. I was telling you about that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the ones that it's residual, and then there's the ones that are actually like with their bodies, and then there's the one that's haunting, I guess, that's stuck there. That's more, they're stuck. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know how I know. It's just, I think it's generally I'll ask, or I just instantly know. It's
Yeah, so that's a knowing, that's an intuitive
yeah.
hit. You just ask. And sometimes this is what I teach people too. It's like that's the one of the things is like asking and you'll hear the answer quickly. But sometimes people don't even realize they asked the question and that's how they heard the answer. They'll just but sometimes it's a knowing where you just know, like you just said, that, but we ask so quick in our head and it just ends up happening. Like if I'm with a client, sometimes they'll ask me a question as they're still asking the question, I already got the answer through
Yes.
whoever was listening to give me the information to give over to them. So it's really interesting. I mean, so it makes sense. I mean, you have a knowing that's really strong there. And yeah, I mean, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And it affected all of us, really.
But you never talked to that girl specifically about it. It was once you got out of the picture and like kind of reminisced over the weekend or whatever, how long you were there. That's when you realized, oh, I see why she was in that space probably.
When I looked back on it, that's when I realized. But
Yeah.
the next morning, oh my goodness. So we decided, Sunday, we're going to brunch. And
Heck
so
yeah.
we found a
That's the
golf.
best meal of the week is a brunch.
I know it is. It's the best. So, and we were getting ready to go home. So we found this golf course that's just up the way. They had a really nice breakfast and bar. So, mimosas and brunch. It was great.
Yep.
Well, after we left there, so I was driving, so I didn't drink a lot. I had like one drink and then water, right? Everybody else had quite a bit more because, we're whatever. Anyway, so the walls were down, basically, is where I'm going with this. But after we left, we're like, I want to see the castle in the daytime. Like, even though we can't go in, I still want to go see it, what it looks like up close in the day. So we drove over to it, drove around, we got right in front, got actually a pretty good picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could pull up their website too, right?
Oh yeah, here, well, here's this. But yes, you're right. I will pull up their website. Just a moment.
Just because I know you were saying earlier they had some good pictures of it in the daytime.
Yeah. So we got there and we're just kind of looking up at it and we're talking about how we knew that there was, what was going on. And one of our friends, it's all new to her. She says flat out that she has no abilities. And, of course I told her, like, yeah, you do. Like, everybody has something. It's like when you're singing a song in the morning and it's in your head and you get in the car and the same song is playing, like, that's a form of what we're picking up. It's intuition. All right, there, can you see it?
It's coming up. Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay.
How much of that do you guys get to like walk around in?
The lower left-hand side, and I think we only went up maybe 2 floors because we went upstairs and then downstairs and then upstairs and downstairs. So I think it was just that lower left corner.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. I'd like to go back and actually see more, but I'm kind of leery of it because here's what happened. So we're standing out front, and you can see from the picture that I showed you, is like we're down a hill, but right in front of it. And the three of us were just looking up at it, and I see, a woman in one of the windows.